Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 323. And this chapter, gotta say, this was a setup chapter, but it was also a very pleasant one to read simply for the fact that we got more world building. And as you guys know, I'm a huge sucker for expanding the lore and just the world that we're traveling in as Luffy and the others descend further and further into the Grand Line. So it was really cool to actually see Water 7 and to see how the island is mainly consisting of all the houses and buildings and everything being set in the water and the foundations down below. And as I was looking at the structures and kind of listening to Nami explain things, it really reminded me a few years ago when I traveled to New Orleans for the first time, right? And one of the things I saw when I went down there was how some of the graves were above ground, and the way some of that places were structured, and just how close everything was to I believe the Mississippi River. I mean, just a lot of stuff. And like traveling over the bridge, I mean, you really got a sense that you were so far below sea level. So it was really cool to see that. And I even saw some of the areas that were still in rebuilding after Katrina, not just the downtown portion. So when I looked at that city and looked at how it was set up structurally, one of the things I was wondering is, because of how the Grand Line is set up, I wonder if this portion, I know closer to Reverse Mountain, things get super hectic. One minute it'll be super hot, cold, blizzards, typhoons. But not too long ago, I mean, we saw the sea monkeys and everything. So I wonder if there's like a huge storm or something, and how these people kind of deal with that based on how everything is set up. So that's something I would like to see kind of expounded on. I'd be really interested if there's like a guidebook that kind of gives us a little more of Oda explains something in an interview somewhere. But seeing that city and seeing how everyone's kind of bustling and they're traveling on the boat, so you're not really on streets in some sections. Very cool. I like how as soon as Luffy and the others pull up, one of the things that we see is they're told, you can't come through the front like that because pirates, well, you're a pirate. You need to go around out back. And that was cool to see, man. That was kind of cool, because it does kind of put it back in your mind after what we saw at Aokiji, where Luffy had to be reminded that the Navy is actually the good guys. We see a little bit more further reinforcement put in here. And I like this decision because from a craft perspective, it's Oda continuing to remind us that, hey, Luffy is a pirate. He's done a bunch of good stuff. Nami, when she was explaining stuff to Vivi back during the Alabasta arc, in the very beginning, I believe right before she got to Drum Island, she said, hey, Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, these guys, they've taken down incredible pirates. They've saved the East Blue. And to read saved, knowing that these are pirates, it lulls you into a false sense of security. Luffy and the others, they don't pillage for loot like that. Yeah, they did it not too long ago in Skypiea when they got to the El Dorado City of Gold, but they're going to give them the gold anyways. That didn't even count. So just seeing that, and how one of the people questions whether or not they're there for loot, and Luffy and others are like, no, we're here to get a shipwright. We want to get our ship fixed. Just to see that, really nice. That was, the humor, and you knew based on how Oda does things, heavy hand, soft hand, where, the soft hand is the humor, and then he usually ends off with something big. And obviously the big ending is we have the, damn it, guys. We have the Water 7 shipbuilding firm. So I thought that it was interesting to end off with the Water 7 shipbuilding firm, because they're knocking out some of the dudes because they haven't really paid their dues, and they try to enforce the pirate way of just saying, you do what I want and I'm not going to pay you, basically being big bullies. And I like how these guys, they are kind of affiliated with the government a little bit. So that was cool to kind of see that aspect of it. And there was some really cool designs on it. One of the things I give Oda props for is he does have some good designs. The women, not so much. I don't really care for his designs on women. We've spoken about this before. We just have to agree to disagree at this point. But what I did enjoy is seeing that guy Iceberg that Luffy and the others are looking for, right? They have a letter of reference, and he's got a really cool design. Maybe it's just me, but I'm really thinking of like Vice City and Google it. Google it. I know everybody's on Grand Theft Auto 5 and everything. Just Google Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I got that type of feel from the way he's drawn. I thought about some of the designs in the Scarface movie. Just seeing that might be me. That might be me just kind of over connecting. But what I really, really enjoyed about a lot of this chapter is in the very beginning, after Luffy and the others, they go their way and Nami's reading that patchwork map that looks like something that a fifth grader would have drawn, where it says, around here, this is the island. I laughed my ass off reading that because Nami's looking at it like it's the most complex thing ever. And it's just like, if you're building a map of the world and you have stuff like that, there's no way in hell. Like, you gotta be making that for fifth graders, man. That's like the Leapfrog, the One Piece version of Leapfrog, man. So that was cool to see, just like the little humor aspect on that for me, because Nami's probably drawing something more complex than that. But to have Luffy also with some drawing that looks like something Rukia Kushiki would have made back in the early episodes of Bleach, when she's explaining to Ichigo how Soul Reaper powers work and what hollows are, and she has these awful drawings. That's what Luffy has when he's describing his ideal shipwright. He's apparently going to be 5 meters wide, and Sanji has to remind him that guy wouldn't even fit on the ship. And Sanji's like, you leave it to me, Luffy. I'll get us a real sexy babe. And it's because Sanji is pissed off that Luffy did not let him bring in that chick from the last arc with those on the Fox Pirates group. So Sanji just wants another woman brought in. I like how everyone's just kind of bickering back and forth, even though Nami's giving them an allowance for while they're going to be on the island for a week. You still see some of the bantering back and forth, and I feel like it's important to show that crew's chemistry and how everything's being built, because Oda is continuing to flesh out and set up something for Nico Robin. I really feel like one or two things is going to happen. I feel like what we're going to see is something major during this week, because Water 7 is so close to the Navy headquarters, to where we're going to see something with Robin, or maybe even we get more on our origin story. But we're going to get something with Robin, because there's this panel where Robin, she opens her mouth and doesn't say anything. She's got the little ... right? And Luffy and others are talking. You see the words off panel. And what was very interesting is Robin has this look where it looks like she's enjoying herself, but the way her eyes are drawn, it looks really sad. Like, you can tell that she's enjoying herself, but at the same time, she looks burdened. And I like how Oda just slips that in there and then continues to, flesh everything out with the back and forth crew bantering. You see Zoro at one point trying to hold up the staff that has the Jolly, oh man, has the Jolly Roger that the Straw Hats have. I like how the ship has gotten all these holes in it, and it really needs some repair because they've gone through a lot, and it really feels like as they fix this ship up, it's like Oda setting us up for what's inevitably going to be the Straw Hats' next adventure, because that ship is a representation, because this ship is them being brought into the Grand Line. It's a culmination of everything that they've been through. And so to fix it up and get them ready for the next phase, knowing that the Navy headquarters is there and Luffy's starting to get a reputation, the crew's getting a reputation, you have admirals being made aware. It's like Oda saying, okay, your time is coming. I don't know what he's got planned, but I know something is coming. I feel like Nico Robin's going to be the first catalyst of quite a few that are going to shake the One Piece, at least this portion of the One Piece world, concerning Luffy and the Straw Hats. But that's all I got for this chapter, guys. My chapter question for you all is, what did you think about Luffy's idea that the ideal shipwright needed to be 5 meters tall? Did you think this was Luffy being just absolutely crazy, or did you think that Luffy is going to get somebody who's actually 5 meters tall? I mean, when the guy has his mindset to something, he has his mindset to, and you can't talk him out of it. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching, guys. Have an awesome day.
「灰色の瞳